Morning, church.
Hey church, how you going? It's really good that we could gather in this way this morning. Who'd have thought 2 or 3 weeks ago that we'd be having to do this sort of thing, having home church, connect church. The coronavirus has just upended our world, hasn't it? But look, we want to just come this morning and just say, whatever you're feeling, however you're going, that God's got this. My name's David Hooper. This is my wife Lil. We've been pastoring C3 Port Hedland for about 18 years, and we just want to let you know this morning that if you're worried about your children, your health, your finances, whatever else is on your issue list today, God has got you covered. He's here to love you, to pour his love into you. There's a verse here in Acts chapter 8. Last year I did a series from Acts chapter 2. It's about the Acts 2 church. Acts chapter 8 comes after the church had its initial growth spurt. So the Acts chapter 2 church, for the first few chapters, was going great guns. But in Acts chapter 8 we have this. All of a sudden the church came under persecution and scattering. It says, on that day, great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout Judea and Samaria. Godly men buried Stephen. He was the guy who got murdered because of his faith. And Saul began to drag the church off into prison and stuff like that. So we find ourselves in not a similar situation, but similar in the fact that the church has gone from being able to gather in great big groups and doing great guns, but now it seems that we've been forced to scatter into these little tiny groups. But the strange thing about that is that even then the church continued to grow. And I see that we are well placed at this point in time, that we're going to see God's grace and his power shine through if we just keep trusting him with what he's got for us in this time.
We don't need to be fearful because he is with us. He is for us. He's not against us. And we can have that joy and peace in the knowledge that, that Christ is with us. And he's just taking care of everything. We might not necessarily see it physically, but we can just have that knowledge that he is at work in the background, and we will eventually see that, won't we? We'll see it come to fruition.
Absolutely. And what I love about this is we've got the opportunity now to step up, to do those things that, maybe we've been getting a little bit slack in, get ourselves back in line with God, get ourselves worshipping. Make church your own each Sunday morning. Gather with the same people each week. We've got the government giving us directions and wisdom. Let's follow that and gather less but connect more. So gather with the same people each week and make church your own. Learn to pray in front of each other. Learn to read your Bible. Take notes as we're doing stuff. Discuss with your children afterwards the stories of the Bible. Church is going to be online a little bit shorter than normal, but we give you a bit of time to make it your own. If you feel like having communion before, after, close in prayer, pray for each other. This is the way our church is going to grow. I'm really actually quite excited about how we're going to come out of this, because we've been trying to grow our church online in Karratha and Broome and the remote northwest over the last little while. I can actually see that happening now. I can see that our church, once this is passed, and it will pass, once this is passed, we're going to come out of this stronger than ever before.
I look forward to hearing about the miracles and the stories of God's work in people's lives through this.
People who've prayed for others and miracles have happened, and they never thought that happened only in the church or up the front and only the pastor, but no. God's with you. You are powerful. He's in you. He loves you. Church, have a fantastic week. And you're going to go into now the message by Pastor Brad Holder, who, by the way, he is the reason that our church is probably one of the best placed churches in Australia because of the technology that he's been putting in place over the last 2 years. Our church has basically come into this with not only almost the least distraction and disruption, but also in a place where we can help other churches get themselves going, because hey, this is what it's about. We're so grateful. This is about fruit. We are building the church with Jesus. We are bearing fruit. Have a great service, the rest of the service, and we look forward to seeing you. Lil and I are coming home tomorrow. We've managed to move our tickets, and we're coming home tomorrow. So
we love you all.
See you soon.
See you soon.